Jennifer Jarratt, and I'm going to be talking about organisation. The biggest reason for me to talk about this is that I have to be very organised because of the amount of work I do. And so I just want to go through what I do week by week and let you know just a bit of an inside about what I do in my life. So, I own Blissful Gifts Services Ltd, and that I manage. I do have a couple of staff members which are family, and they have their own jobs and do their own little areas, and that's great. But I do a lot of hands-on work, as obviously if you know about the business, you'll know it's quite niche. So I've got a couple of examples to show you. It started out with Diaper Cakes, and that's where I began. And onto little handmade gifts like, lollyflowers and little cute things like that. It got to the point where I ended up sewing and enjoying that, and because my children were growing up and they were growing out of their own clothes, I wanted to make their clothes into something special. I felt it was a little bit final to put their clothes into the attic or store them in the box and get covered in dust. So I started doing keepsakes, which you can see behind me here. Now we've just launched a new item, which are memory cushions. Here's one. You can see it there. It's got a lovely selection of clothes there. And obviously, that's all me on that side of it. Now, I do have help with the embroidery side. So, as you can see, this is a cute bib. I also do business uniforms. And soon we are doing t-shirt printing and garment printing. So, there's a lot of aspects to the business, and that really does keep me busy. So, I have the business. The next thing I do in my life is, at the current moment, I'm writing my first novel, and I'm really, really passionate about this because it's something close to my heart, and actually it's based on a subject that is maybe a tad taboo and really needs looking at, and people do need support in this area. So I hope you do have a quick look at that, and like the Facebook page, and also just sign up for the newsletter if you're interested in what the synopsis is about, which is just being released. And the next thing I do is I have a job. Yes, I do have a job. It may be only 6 hours a week, but that still takes up a chunk of my time. And that's actually in children's work, which I do have a qualification in youth work, so it coincides. And that's within schools. And actually that, I must say, that does give me a bit of time out as well. Okay, so that's the business, the book, and my job. I also am the area coordinator of BizMums in East Yorkshire. BizMums is a networking enterprise for mums and ladies in business, and we meet up in play areas, and we actually have speakers come, and we can have our children with us, and we get to network with, like-minded mums, basically. So as the area coordinator, I actually organise the events, I do the email marketing, I recruit the hosts, I do some promotion on that, and obviously the paperwork. Now, besides that, I am a mum of 2, and those 2 children are very precious to me, and I have to spend time with them, of course. I have Sophie, who's currently 5, and Riley, who's 3. And believe it or not, I'm actually expecting. So things are going to get a lot busier, which means I need to be very organised. Now, if that wasn't enough, yes, I know what you're going to be thinking. How do I fit it in? Well, I'm actually planning a wedding, obviously with my partner, who is very much involved with my business. And that is actually going to be due a month before the baby is born. So things are going to get hectic towards the end of the year. And besides my business, my book, my job, being the area coordinator, being a mum of two, planning the wedding. I also have obviously time that I need for myself, time that I need for my partner, and time that I need to give to family members and deal with those everyday, problems and struggles that everybody goes through. So, you're probably thinking, how do I fit it in? How do I still have time for myself? And how do I keep on growing my business and achieve the goals I want in my life? And the biggest thing is, am I not tearing my hair out? No, I'm extremely happy. So I want to give you an insight as to how you can take my little habits on board, and perhaps that will help you to be a little more organised and actually have some time for yourself and be happy, because everyday life can be complicated. So, the first things first is that I have yearly goals. So at the beginning of 2015, I set out some goals here. And okay, there's one at the bottom that I haven't done, but that wasn't my extreme important one. But if you have a look already, I've rebranded the business, which you may know about. I've invested into a heat press, and that goes along with the printing side of it. And we're actually going for some training this next week coming, so that is ongoing and that's getting accomplished. I've done my financial target for the year, and the one that needs a bit more work on is the book, but I'm fully aware of that, and that's why I'll put my steps in place to make sure I achieve this goal. So, why is it important that I set yearly goals? Well, looking at statistics, it says that around 3% of people write down and review their goals. Now, if you did that, you are 95% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down and review them. So I have my goal list stuck on the wall above my computer, right where I can see it every day, so I have a constant reminder, because I want to be that 3%, the error of the way. I want to achieve 95% of my goals, and looking at them, it looks like it's going that way and is right on plan. So, you're probably thinking as well, actually I do have my goal list, but actually it might be stuck in your head. Now, what's going to happen? Other things will cloud it, you'll get distracted, and actually maybe you'll forget those goals that you started out in the year. Pretty much like New Year resolutions, I guess. So I would urge you to write them down. One thing I know is I did have goals last year, but I don't remember them. So the next step is, each month I make time to do my end of the month accounts to keep track of where I'm up to. So basically, at the end of the year, it doesn't take me 2 weeks tearing my hair out again. It actually takes me half an hour. Okay, maybe a little bit more. But because I've done all that planning, I've got it all there, ready and set. And that goes as well for my yearly goals. I've broken my yearly goals down so I can hit a certain target each month, so that I'm on track with getting the bigger picture sorted. So, this is one of the first things first resources I would recommend is this workbook. Now, it's the first year I've actually used this workbook, but it's great because it's actually really creative. You can doodle in it. It's nice to look at, and it encourages you to keep looking at your life, at your business, and achieving those goals. This is actually Leonie Dawson's Life and Business Edition workbook, but you can actually just get the Life workbook or the Business workbook, which I think is great. She also does business planners. She also has a wall planner, so it's well worth looking at, and the details will be in the description of this YouTube video as well. So looking at the back, which is probably the best place I go to. If I get there. So you'll see this page here. And basically, it's what goals did you achieve the month before. It's have you had any unplanned successes, which is always good to look at. And what goals do you want to do next month? Now, so I've had my yearly, I've had my monthly, and what's next? Yep. I use my own design of post-it note planner, which you can have this week or this month, this year. It's up to you. And all I do is I put post-it notes in the area, and it feels good to rip those post-it notes off once the job has been done. It could be something as little as getting a specific order done that really needs looking at. It could be, actually, I need to spend time with my family. It could be anything. But also, that could be broken down from your yearly goals to the steps that you take each month, and then you even break it down into a week. So then you're really focused on what you want to achieve. So that's the 3 main things I wanted to look at. How would that save time being organised? Well, as I mentioned, I have my weekly tasks. I put them on the post-it notes. I keep an eye on what I need to get done, because if I don't do that, I know for myself that I get overwhelmed, I forget, I put things off, and then I'm completely stressed out and I'm not enjoying my work, I'm not enjoying my life, and I'm not happy. So it's very important to be organised in our lives. Excuse me a moment. So, I even then break it down into a routine. So just to give you a bit of insight of my week in, week out, a general one. Obviously this does change because things cannot be prevented. Summer, half term come, Christmas, different seasonal things, crisis, car breaks down, things like that. So this is just a general week. And what helps me keep organised is my Filofax. Yes, okay, that might seem a little bit old. I do have an iPhone, but the calendar isn't as good what I need. I need to be able to visually flip through, see it, and I have a daily one where I can schedule in all my appointments for the whole day each week. So it's perfect for me. I use the time that both children are in school and nursery to do my business work, of course, because what's the point in doing it while they're around? There's going to be distractions. They're not going to be getting the time they need. I mean, sometimes, again, this isn't going to happen. Sometimes there's going to be a big order that needs looking at. But you can get help too. So, what I want to show you is my week. Here it is. Now, you're probably wondering what all the colours are. I'm quite a creative person, as you may know, and this really helped me visualise what my general week looks like. So, my evenings are off. It only goes up to 6 p.m. The purple is actually the business. The green is my part-time job. This little bit is my partner and my time here, pink. The blue bit, which is really good, which has just changed, is my family time. And over here I have some of my book time as well. Now, this didn't look like this a couple of months ago, I must admit. It was every bit of my time I did the business, I was doing the book, I was overworking myself. And I could see that it was having an impact on my partner, on my 2 kids, and I know that I needed to change. So, this is when this came in place. And I thought, I know customers out there and clients and work colleagues will understand that actually it is a Saturday and Sunday, and actually I am a mum and perhaps might take the weekend off. And people may have realised that I take a little longer to reply to, but it doesn't mean that I'm not thinking about what I need to get done. It's actually that I'm having a bit of time out. And doing this actually makes me a lot happier. The biggest thing I've noticed by sort of scheduling it out and having a look at this is, even though I have the whole weekend off, I am actually more productive on the days that I'm working. And I'm actually getting about the same amount of work done. So why on earth was I just letting it drib, drab, drop through the week and not just getting it done straight away? Who knows? We all do it. If you've got a home business, and you'll probably relate to this, but if you've got your work around you, what do? You look at it and you think, I need to get this done. Anyway, we're allowed to switch off, and that's what I want to make a point at. What I want to do is give you a few hints and tips as well. So you've already had some information about me and my general week and what I get up to. I've told you about my yearly goals, my monthly goals, and even breaking it down week by week. So what I want to recommend to you is this book. Now, I don't have the book with me because I'm currently lending it out. It's been that good, and a lot of you that are maybe watching actually are like, yes, Jenny, you keep talking about this book, but seriously, it is worth a read. And not even if you don't have a business and you're just working, or even if you're a mum, it still helps with your everyday life. And this is definitely being paramount in my life, is doing less and getting more. And as I talked about my weekly planner, my weekly schedule, I can see that's actually happening. This book is written by a lovely lady, Jarratt Wasmond, and she has a lot of experience and she's written other books. Again, the details will be in the description on the YouTube video. So, in the book, there is definitely one aspect I would like to touch on. Now, Shah talked about eating a frog. Now, you're probably wondering what on earth eating a frog is. Well, it's been a big change in my life in the last month because I am eating frogs every day. And basically, it means that if you have one thing that needs to get done, this could be, I don't know, doing the pots, or it could be something like going to the bank and getting something sorted, or writing a letter, and you're putting it off and putting it off, but then you're working on other projects and it's still in your mind. You're wearing away and thinking, oh, I need to get this done, and you're not focused on the project in hand. So what Shah recommends is actually that you just eat the frog and get it done. So as soon as I read this part in the book, I rang up a couple of places that I needed to sort out, and it felt so much better. And I thought, why on earth have I been thinking about this for? I think it was about a week. It was taking up all my energy and draining it, and I wasn't focused on the project at hand and other things that I needed to get done. So I urge you to start eating frogs, whether in your own life personally, or your business, or your work. Now, something else Shah talks about, which I absolutely love, is digital detoxing. So, obviously, we all have one of these, and we all have a laptop or iPads, tablets, different devices that can ping at any time, that can offer a distraction. And how have I been spending my time in the past? Well, I was always, whenever my phone buzzed, I would be straight to it. Whenever my iPad pinged, I'd be there. And I wasn't having time for myself again. Even if it was reading a book and actually having me time and doing and actually trying to invest in me, I would still get a buzz and it'd be like, oh, I'll just finish this page, and then it'd be like, oh no, I'll just look at it. And then what happens when you're on that device on your phone? You then end up scrolling and scrolling, and that's just not good. So what I've started to do is, if I'm reading a book, I am reading a book. I put my phone in the other room on silent, and if there is an emergency, I know somebody will ring my landline phone. So there's no reason to panic, is there? I've managed to get through a book rather than stagger it and take a year. I've got through a book in a month. And the same goes for that as the digital detoxing I do with my family time, with my kids' time. Mummy, why are you on your phone all the time? We don't want that. We want mummy's on her phone because it's for work or because it's for this, but she's had some time with me already. That would be a bit better, wouldn't it? So there is digital detoxing, which I would highly recommend. The other thing Shah talks about is decluttering. Now, I am so bad at building up paperwork on my desk, and if anybody comes around, you are free to tell me off if my desk is a mess, because I am trying to declutter. Well, not every day, but I have got a system to make it easier. So, if I do get some letters for the business, I will have a section for that, and I will pop it there in a filing area to be filed. And then I will have, my personal side, so what needs to be filed again. Because again, we're all busy, we don't have time to do it straight away. We understand this, so I've put delegated areas to do this. So then at the end of the week, I can go to the filing cabinet and just file it, rather than every day doing it, feeling like it's draining. At least I know if it's not in the filing cabinet, it's ready to be filed. So that's something else we can input and change to be organised and to make our lives a lot easier. In Shah's book, she does have a 5-minute daily planner, and I would recommend buying the book anyway. She has exercises in it, and really take it in and use it as a really good tool. So I just wanted to let you know about that one. I've also, read about habits, and habits can be a good thing as well as a bad thing. So, what a bad habit is piling that paperwork up and leaving it there not to be filed. A good habit would be to have that system in place. And the great thing is that it takes 24 days to break a habit. And it also takes 24 days to make a habit. So if we started to implement these changes into our lives and we got past that 24 days, then it is normality. It's normal. You don't even have to think about it. So I would urge you to take action. It's a challenge, but it's a good thing. It's for you. And actually get in there and start thinking, what habits need breaking? And what habits can I create to have a smile on my face? Now, just to finish, I wanted to give you a couple of quotes that are really close to my heart and what I do. And actually, my partner, I've got to thank for this one. He always reminds me of it, but it always comes into my head when I think about it, and he is totally right. And it's failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And if you think about it, that's got to be right. So let's prepare to be right instead. Instead of failing to prepare, let's just prepare, and then we've got the success at the end of it. Let's be that 3%, the 3% that write down and review their goals. And then one thing actually my mum told me, which is a lovely quote, is never be too busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Now that's, ever since I got told that quote, I have really had it in my heart again. And that's when those changes came into place. Now, for the last one, if it's really hard for you to get organised, and if it's a really big struggle and you're not achieving what you want to achieve, you're not reaching those goals, I'd urge you to get somebody that is accountable to you. I have an accountable person that I tell my yearly goals, and she checks up on me. She tells me hers, and I check up on her, and it's really good because it means that if I've told somebody, it's real, it's happening. For the book, for example, was an idea in my head. I thought it was never ever going to happen, but when I told her, it had to happen. And the other side of it is, it doesn't have to be somebody, let's say for example, if it's to do with work, it doesn't have to be a work colleague, it could be a friend or family. The other good way of achieving goals, if you don't have an accountable person, or you really want to just go for it, is tell people, stick it on social media. Now that can be a bit dangerous, so be careful. But if you really want to get something done, say, by the way, this is launching next month. And if you've told everybody you're launching it next month, then you better launch it. So that's my final piece of advice there, or hints or tips. And I really hope you get something from this, and I look forward to hearing how you change your week from having the whole area filled and to not having much time, to actually spacing it out, and again by doing less and getting more, because that is a really good goal to have, isn't it? Thank you for watching, and please look at the description on this video to get all the information and details you need. Bye.